Hey everybody. Trading is a word that sounds very easy to hear. But in reality, when a person steps into it, they realize that this is not a game of charts or indicators, but it is a test of the mind, patience, and belief or conviction. And within this lies the real secret. Sticking to one strategy is real trading. This is the idea Mark Douglas explained throughout his life. He said that the difference between the winners and the losers in the market is not their strategy, but their stability, their consistency. Those who stick to their strategy are the ones who win in the end, and those who constantly change strategies become the market's playthings. When a trader first enters the market, they feel there might be some magic formula, some way in which every trade can be profitable. They search day and night. Sometimes they adopt someone else's strategy. Sometimes they rely on some indicator. Sometimes they follow a YouTuber's setups. Sometimes they spend money on a course. But after a few days, the same thing is repeated. Losses. And then, once again, they change their strategy. And then a second strategy. Then a third. Then a fourth. And this continues, and they feel that perhaps their market is against them, or a secret is hidden in the market that no one knows. But the truth is that the market has no secret. The secret is within us. The secret of discipline, the secret of patience, and the secret of sticking to one system. Mark Douglas said, the market is never wrong. Your response is wrong. If a trader's strategy repeatedly fails, it doesn't mean the strategy is bad, but that the trader could not completely live the strategy. A strategy is not a formula. A strategy is a behavior. Until you adopt that behavior within yourself, no strategy is going to work for you. Imagine a person who goes to the gym every day, but changes the exercise every week, changes their trainer every month, changes supplements every time. Will they become fit? Probably not, because the body depends and needs consistency, not variety. Similarly, trading also needs consistency, but the problem is that there's a lot of variety in the market. Everywhere, some new method, new system, new setup is being sold, and the human mind is always drawn towards novelty. They feel that maybe this new way will be correct, but the winning trader in the market is the one who loves stability, not novelty. One day, the market will go against you. The next day, it will be in your favor. If you keep changing strategies every time, you will never be able to understand your strategy. To understand a strategy means to know its strengths, to accept its weaknesses, to live with it. Just as there is a relationship also develops between the trader and the strategy. If you break that relationship and form a new one every time, you will never understand anyone. Mark Douglas says that the game of trading is one of probability, but also of mindset. And this mindset is formed when you execute a system repeatedly, without emotion, without fear, without overconfidence. A trader becomes mature when he knows that the market is not in his control, but his execution is in his control. And execution is only possible when the strategy is fixed. Every trader has to understand one day that there are opportunities every day in the market, but not every opportunity is for you. The only opportunity for you is the one that falls within the scope of your strategy. If you treat every candle as an opportunity, the market will exhaust your mind. But if you only consider your system's signal as an opportunity, the market will align with you. When you stick to a strategy, initially you feel pain, because losses also come with that strategy. But slowly, those very losses teach you how to respect the strategy, how to give it time. It is not easy to stick to a strategy, because our inner mind always wants results, and if results are not achieved, it starts to doubt the strategy. But the true trader is the one who trusts the process even without results. The moment comes in trading when you think that maybe this strategy is not for me, but in reality, the moment that happens, it is a turning point for you. Because if you cross that moment, if you stay with that strategy when everything seems wrong, Then you begin to understand the market in its true form. You understand that the market is not against you, it is with you. You just need patience. Mark Douglas said, "The moment you stop needing to win, you start winning." This means that when you start walking with the strategy without greed and without haste, the market begins to reward you. Every strategy needs time to be tested. Every system needs time to be understood. But we want to invest today and get profit tomorrow. This mindset leads us to loss. The market changes every day, but the psychology behind it does not change. If you understand that psychology, any strategy will work for you. If you become a victim of fear and greed every time, no matter how perfect the strategy is, it will fail. A strategy works when your mind is stable. The mind is stable when you can keep yourself in control, when you don't try to control the market. Many people say that the market is unpredictable, but the truth is that the market is not unpredictable. You are prepared because you didn't give the You are unprepared. Big difference. Because you didn't give the strategy a chance to build something for you. Changing the strategy every time there's a loss is you deceiving yourself. But if you stick with one strategy for a whole year, your mind begins to understand every pattern, every error, every signal of that strategy. And then trading becomes not easy, but peaceful. A time comes when your focus shifts from the result to the process. And this is the moment when you become a true trader. You don't need a profit in every trade anymore. You need consistency. You need peace. You need growth. And all this comes when you stop the habit of abandoning the strategy. The biggest illusion in the market is that money is made from the strategy. No, the strategy only gives a structure. Money is made by your discipline, your patience, your behavior. Following a strategy means you are controlling yourself, because when you go outside the strategy, then you enter into emotion. And when you enter into emotion, the market punishes you. The traders who stay with the strategy connect with the market. They start feeling every moment and every movement of the market. They know when to wait. They know when to act and when to do nothing. This is the fruit of sticking to the strategy. This is the philosophy of Mark Douglas, the one he applies to life far more than just trading. Just as in life, we also have to stick to one path. Similarly, in trading, if you change your path every time, you will never reach the destination. The destination is reached by the one who stops, who sticks to it, who trusts their path. No matter how difficult that path is, the true joy of trading comes when you are not afraid of the market, when you treat every loss as a lesson, when you consider the strategy your partner. Those who stick to one strategy eventually understand that there is no need to conquer the market. There is a need to understand the market. And when you understand that the market is not an enemy, but a mirror that shows you the reflection of your mindset, then you change. Then you realize that the need was not to change the strategy, but to change yourself. Every morning when you open the chart, ask yourself one question. Am I still going to be loyal to my strategy today? If the answer is yes, you are on the right path. And if not, the market will teach you again, perhaps through pain, perhaps through loss, but it will definitely teach you. Trading is not a race, it's a marathon. And in a marathon, the winner is not the one who runs fast, but the one who keeps running until the end. Sticking to the strategy is that long run. And the one who stops wins this race. Mark Douglas used to say that you do not need a perfect system to win, but a perfect discipline. And this is the essence of his entire philosophy. Every trader who loves their strategy, who does not leave it even in loss, who follows it even in doubt, one day feels freedom because they are no longer afraid of the market. They know that no matter what the market does, I will stick to my strategy. And this is real trading. This is the level where you rise above the market, where you not only make money, but earn peace. You earn confidence, and you find the balance that every trader dreams of. Until you stick to one strategy, you do not know yourself. And when you stick, the market teaches you what no book, no course, no guru can teach: belief in yourself. This was Mark Douglas's true teaching, and this is the true identity of every true trader. Stick to it, be stable, and trust one path, because the real victory is hidden where your mind becomes stable. And when one day you reach that level where the strategy dwells within you, trading no longer causes stress but becomes a meditation. Now you observe every candle, but you do not react. You listen to every sound of the market, but you maintain peace within yourself. Now every loss is a teacher for you, and every profit is not just a reward, but the result of discipline that you have maintained. Now you begin to understand that the market comes and it will sometimes test you. It repeatedly gives you moments where you think, now leave this strategy, try something new. But if you stop yourself in that moment, if you escape that temptation, then you cross to another level. The market stops you where your weakness is. And if you overcome that weakness, the market moves you forward. Sometimes sticking to a strategy means that you will have to do nothing for a few days. No trades, no entries, no excitement. And this is the hardest part, because waiting is the most difficult thing for a person. They feel that something must be done, but the true trader is the one who has the power to do nothing, who knows that it is necessary to control their mind, not the market. Mark Douglas used to say that even when you are doing nothing, you are still trading because you are maintaining your discipline. This is the phrase where most people break down because they're afraid of silence. They want action. They're afraid of silence. They want movement. But in the market, sometimes silence itself is the strategy. And the trader who understands this silence is the one who grows the fastest. A trader's real growth begins when they understand not the logic behind the strategy, but the psychology behind the strategy. Every strategy teaches you a pattern of how the market thinks, how the crowd reacts, and how you can be different from that crowd. But all this is only possible when you continually execute the same strategy, no matter what the result is. Many people say that changing the strategy increases experience. Yes, experience increases, but depth is lost. If you know a little bit about every strategy, you will only see the surface everywhere. But if you go deep into one strategy, you will feel the true soul of the market. And that depth will give you the edge that other people just do not have. The real game of trading is not external, but internal. The market looks the same to everyone, but everyone's mindset is different. And that determines whether you win or whether you lose. Sticking to that strategy is actually training your mind, teaching it that I trust, I won't rush, I won't be afraid, I won't change. Sometimes people around you also try to break you. Someone will say your strategy is not working. Someone will say the market has changed. Someone will say you are overconfident. And these are the moments when you have to decide whether your trust is in people or in yourself. If you keep listening to everyone, your path will never be determined. But if you keep quietly walking on your strategy, one day those very people who look at you and say, how did he do it? Every trader reaches a time when they feel that the market is not in their control. They always want a perfect entry, a perfect exit, but the market does not work according to everyone. Then they understand that there is no such thing as a perfect strategy. Imperfect strategy plus perfect mindset is the winning combination. A strategy is just a map to reach the destination. But the map only works when you don't change the direction repeatedly on the way. If you start taking a shortcut every time, it will go farther away from the destination. That is why every successful trader knows that stability, not shortcuts, bring success. A trader who has trained his mind that I will not change the strategy can stick to any market condition. Whether the market is sideways, whether it is volatile or quiet, he knows that every condition is a part of his strategy. He knows that every situation is making him stronger. Sometimes you will see that others are getting a profit and your trades are flat. That moment feels very heavy. The ego says, try something new. You've been left behind. But that is the moment when your character is tested. If you can calm that ego, your mind reaches that level where no movement of the market disturbs you. And that is the mindset that will win. A trader should always remember that changing the strategy is easy, but changing yourself is difficult. And if you repeatedly change the strategy, you are actually running away from yourself, because not the strategy, but your mind is in trouble. When you control yourself, and any strategy becomes gold for you. Mark Douglas said, you don't need to know what's going to happen next to make money. This means that you don't need to know the future of the market. You just need to follow your strategy repeatedly. That will give you the outcome. The outcome can change every time, but the process must always remain the same. The magic in trading happens when your focus shifts from the result to execution. You execute every trade like a lesson. You take every loss as feedback. You accept every win with calmness. And all this is possible when the strategy is fixed, when the process is clear, when the mind is steady. Slowly, a time comes when you stop trying to understand the market and start observing it. You no longer react, you just respond. Your inner restlessness ends. And when the mind is calm, only then does the real clarity come. Then you understand that making money in the market is not as difficult as managing yourself. Sticking to the strategy is actually sticking to yourself. Every time you don't abandon the strategy, you weaken the weakness inside you and strengthen the discipline inside you. And when the discipline inside you becomes strong, the market becomes easy for you, because you don't flow with every candle, every trend, every news. You just observe, you think, and you do exactly what your strategy says. This is true freedom. When the market tries to shake you and you don't budge. This is the level where you are not just a trader but an artist. Because now you are not trading in the market. Now you are feeling the market. Every entry, every exit now becomes your expression. And the name of this expression is consistency. And when your fear, your greed, and your ego begin to break, then you feel that the market was never your enemy. It was just exposing the noise inside you. It was showing you how much restlessness, how much impatience, and how much desire to win quickly was inside you. Mark Douglas used to say, the market shows you everything about yourself if you look closely at it. And the truth is, the market never defeats anyone. It just shows who is losing to themselves. When you stick to the strategy, your mind slowly learns to quiet that noise. Earlier, where every loss made you angry, now peace begins to come there. Earlier, where every missed opportunity made you feel regret, now you feel satisfaction that you didn't break the rule. This is the moment of transformation, when the strategy becomes not a cage, but freedom for you. People think that freedom means doing whatever you feel like. But true freedom is when you deliberately do only what is necessary. And this is what the strategy teaches. It gives you boundaries. And within those boundaries, you recognize yourself slowly. You realize that making money in the market is easy. But making that money permanent is difficult, because money stays as long as the mind is stable. If the mind is restless, money will come and go. But if the mind is stable, the profit itself begins to stay. And this stability comes when you stop changing the strategy. A trader's biggest turning point comes when he says, now I will not experiment. Now I will observe. When you observe, you learn from every trade. Every time before entering, you ask yourself, is this trade within my strategy? If the answer is yes, you enter without fear. If the answer is no, you wait without regret. This is maturity. It happens many times in the market that your strategy repeatedly hits the stop loss. And at that moment, the ego screams, see, the strategy isn't working. But the true trader stays there. He knows that every system has a losing phase. No strategy is 100%, but consistency can be 100%, and that consistency ultimately wins. When you reach this level, you are not affected by what others say. Someone might say to you, "You're doing it wrong." Someone might say, "The market has changed now." You just smile because you know that the market can change, but your discipline will not. You now have faith in the process. You have adopted. Every morning, when you open the chart, you now connect the process and not with the emotions. Your mind is no longer afraid before the entry and doesn't regret after the exit. You just observe, execute, and accept. This is the level where the wall between the mind and the market collapses. Slowly, you realize that sticking to a strategy is not just trading rules, it's a life rule. Just as in life, we often change paths. Sometimes one plan, sometimes another goal, but real growth happens when we stick to one direction and learn to live it. Trading is the same. The one who stays goes in depth. The one who runs away stays on the surface every time. When you stay with a strategy for a long time, your mind makes it neutral. Now you don't have to think what to do after seeing the chart. Your response becomes automatic, without emotion, without doubt, and this is true freedom. The market now becomes a teacher for you. It teaches you when to stop, when to speak, when to listen, and when to do nothing. And when you learn these 4 things, the market becomes your best friend. Now you are not afraid of loss because you know that every loss is part of your system. Now you don't get excited by profit because you know that it's also part of the system. Now your mind does not focus on every single trade or every single tick or every single movement of every single candle, but on the entire process. And this is the mindset that separates professional traders from the crowd. A time comes when you think to yourself, why am I not like before? Earlier, where every trade had restlessness, now there is peace. Earlier, where every chart scared, it now teaches me. Earlier, where every loss hurt, now it gives feedback. This change comes not from the strategy, but from within you. Mark Douglas used to say, to win in trading, you must be honest with yourself, and this honesty comes from sticking to a strategy. When you follow a rule, you prove to yourself that you are trustworthy, and when you start trusting yourself, the market opens up to you. One day, you feel that you no longer need to explain the market. Now, you feel the market. You know when the market is calm, when it is fearful, when it is greedy, and then you realize that the market is actually a reflection of human beings. When you understand yourself, you understand the market too. This is the level where every candle now becomes a mirror of your mind. Every movement now becomes a lesson. Every trade now becomes a part of meditation. And there is only one way to reach this level: sticking to the strategy. Now, you don't enter the market to make money, but because you trust the process. And when there is trust in the mind, the result comes automatically. You no longer have to chase the result. The result itself comes to you. That voice inside you that used to say, change the strategy, is no longer raised. The voice has become silent because it knows that stability is power. And the stability is what makes every trader not rich, but free. Now, the market is not a fear for you, but it's now a dance. Every move, every signal now feels like a rhythm. And you know that you flow with that rhythm, without struggle, without resistance. This is the state where the trader becomes an artist. When you start living in this flow, you feel that trading is no longer just a game of money, but a spiritual practice. Now every loss makes you humble. Every profit makes you grateful. And every candle reminds you that stability is the real power. So if these words have touched your heart, remember the real game of trading is not strategy, but stability. And it is not about conquering the market, but about conquering yourself. So, if this video was helpful for you. If you liked this video, please like it. Please tell me in the comments what stood out the most. Please hit that subscribe button. And together, let's learn the true mindset of trading like this. Subscribe to the channel. Until we meet again in the next video.